I was freshly married, and didn't have any money to do a wedding or anything like that. So that whole thing came through faith. All the money arrived through faith. I ended up getting kicked out of where I was living. I'm just going to tell you a testimony of walking with faith and money, right? I got kicked out where I was living, fired from my job. They said, leave, take your trailer. If you don't take your trailer, we're going to tow it. So I said, all right. I ended up actually staying behind the church for 3 days, freezing, no electricity, till eventually my now wife, Andrea, said that I could go stay at the girls' house where they were all living in North Portland, North Portland. So I was staying there, and I got a new job. We were looking for a place to go. We didn't know where we were going to go. There was no kind of real clue. Couldn't find any place to live. We went and this one place we walked in, it was a box, man. It was like maybe the size of half of this room. And I was like, man, how much is this? Thinking, a couple $100 for sure, right? I'm like, yeah, we only want $1,800 a month. And I was like, my gosh, how can this be done? This cannot be done. This is impossible, right? I don't know where we're going to go. So we found a house. Actually, one of our friends found it on the side of the road. And they said, hey, did you see this house? And so I said, no. And we got to the house. The house was $2,000 a month. It's the house that many of you have been to now. And I looked at it. I said, we're going to get it, man, with no money. I said, we're going to get it. We're going to move in. We actually had some of the body pitch in. We pitched in together, and we got this house. Moved in, okay? There was all the money that we had. And a little bit of the money from the body. I had a fresh job. They were going to be paying me $2,000 a week. So I thought, oh man, this is it. I'm finna pay all this rent, right? This is great. I'm gonna get married. Everything's gonna go according to plan. And I got fired. Their laboratory blew up in my face. And I gave that testimony here. And so I told the dude, the Lord protects me. And he's like, yeah, this guy's evil. He should be dead. He's not dead. I gotta get rid of him. So they fired me. I came back to the house, and it was $2,000, man. Time was running out. First month of rent. Got this woman living with me now. Now I'm not just responsible for me and the dog, but now I'm responsible for another human being as well, right? And I'm worried about it. So I get this gig where they're just slamming me into the ground, man. I mean, they're slamming me into the ground. I wake up, my body hurts. I got allergies from all the chemicals and things I was working with the day before. And I was supposed to be at work at 9 in the morning. I woke up at 8:30, right? And I slammed my fist on the bed. And I said, this is your son, What is this, Lord? Like, I am a king, I told God. I am a king. I am your son. I am the son of the Most High God. This is ridiculous. And I heard his voice in my head. He said, you are my son, and you are a king. And if you want to shovel poop for the rest of your life, you will be the most blessed poop shoveler there ever was. But if you're a king, stand up and act like a king. So I called my boss. And I said, look, man, you don't even understand how valuable I am. I'm extra valuable. You got me in the wrong position. Like, if anything, you're blessed that I'm even here at this company. It's not right what you've got me doing, and I refuse to do anything less than who I am. I should basically be running the company, is what I told the guy. The guy said, you've lost your mind. But if you want to have lunch and talk about it, I'm down. So I said, all right. So I went and had lunch and talk. I was supposed to be at work. My boss was at work. This other guy's the owner of the company. My boss was at work. He calls me. He's like, you're supposed to be at work. I'm not answering the text messages, not doing any of that. And I go to meet the CEO. I walk in, multi-million-dollar house. It's crazy. So we go out to eat lunch. And I'm telling him how smart I am, how much of a king I am, how amazing I am. That's what I'm telling this guy. And he says, He says, man, I think you can do something for my company. I said, I know I can. I absolutely can. He's like, yeah, I think you can do something for my company. I said, well, if you're serious about it, write me a check for $2,000 right now. Write me a check. Rent was due yesterday, and it's $2,000. So if you're serious, write me the check. And he says, okay, no problem. Pulls out the checkbook, writes me $2,000. I wrote it, took it, put it in my pocket. I said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow, trying to withhold all of this. And I got in my car and I drove all the way home. I had made rent, right? Made rent. And I came in and told her, and we were super excited that we had rent made. And that went on to increase and to increase and to increase. And I worked for that company, and it didn't work out. But that company taught me some skills that allowed me to position myself as a business owner. So I start putting this resume together about how awesome I am, basically, and sending it to these places. And this guy hits me up from North Carolina, and he says, hey, I'd like to meet at Starbucks in Cascade Station and talk to you. So I talked to him. He's like, what do you think about this? These guys are charging me multi-millions of dollars to build this laboratory. What do you think? And I said, man, I will build that laboratory for you for $60,000. Because in my head, that was the number that was like, see, anytime that I'm making a new amount of money that I'm stretching faith for, it's all divided by 2,000. How many months rent can I get out of this set amount of money? So I'm thinking $60,000. That's 30 months. Yeah, I'm doing good, right? I've got it figured out, right? So I'm like, $60,000, I'll definitely do it. Tell you what, we'll take 6 payments, $10,000 each. I did all. He's like, man, that's amazing. I will do that. And he's like, what's your business name? And I was like, wisdom. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is what came out of my mouth. I went home and I opened that business. I opened that business with the money that he paid me on my first time. So this is a multi-million-dollar laboratory. I've never technically built one on my own. I've seen many of them built, and I have the Lord. So I decide I'm going to build it. I get all this guy's equipment. I put it all together for him. I work with the engineers. We draw the blueprints, and the Lord is making me look super good. Super good, because I do, in fact, have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, teaching me these methods of business practice, right? So I get there, and this is where I'll end it. It goes much further, but I get there to the board meeting, and these people are DeWitt. If you know anything about DeWitt, they're the number 2 building company in the United States, number 5 in the entire world for infrastructure, medical buildings. So these guys aren't baby money. These guys are billions, billions and billions and billions of dollars they have. So they're in a boardroom, and I'm dressed up. I wasn't grown up rich, so I've got my wedding suit. The suit that I wore to my wedding is the suit that I wore to that business office to meet these billionaires. And I walk in there, and I'm in the bathroom. And I'm sweating, man. I mean, my hands are sweaty. I'm clammy. I'm terrified of this. I'm just terrified. And there's 12 or 13, 12, maybe 13 of them in this boardroom, multi-billionaires, waiting for me to walk in, this kid, this trailer kid, right? To walk in and explain to them how I was going to make their multi-billion-dollar business tick. And I'm walking to the office, and I'm, okay, I can do it, Lord. Here we go. This is what we've trained for, right? Here's the moment. And I walk to the door, and I hear them praying. The boardroom is praying. And they said, Lord, we've assembled our money. We've assembled our finances. We've assembled our business plan. Now help us. Send us somebody who can make this work. And the Lord in my head said, you're the answer to their prayer. And I walked in there, and now I'm boldly approaching the throne of grace. I walk in there, and I explain them from A to Z how we're going to do everything. Just knocked the whole thing out of the park. And I assembled that laboratory all by myself. That went on. I've been in with this same business for 3 years now. Built some other businesses along the way. One other business along the way. Yeah, and Faith, walking with money, through money, but faith in what he has to do. Faith to expect something more from him. And it's so insane because as far as he can stretch my imagination to believe, it's like that's nothing for you, son. I'm infinitely resourceful. You're not even thinking, but I'm like, this is the most that I can comprehend. And he's like, okay, then I'll give you the most that you can comprehend, right? And then we get stretched to what's the next level. Today I got stretched even further. It's been amazing. So that's what I encourage you is, and it wasn't like, okay, then Lord, pull me out of this trailer then. You love me, I'm your son, then pick me up out of the mud. Wasn't that? That's not how at least my testimony goes. My testimony was, if you're a king, then act like one. Get out there, walk. And here I am.